This video is about just the ups and downs, I guess it's a long road because it is. I don't mean to be I don't know, because I'm just having a challenging day. Sometimes it feels like, some people say it's like you take two steps forward and one step backwards. So you're always making progress, but it just seems like sometimes it seems like everything that I do fails. Everything that I set out to do. Sometimes you make poor choices, and everything adds up. Of course, it's not like there's anything lost, and they say that it's like those times when it feels like you're not making any progress, you're actually making the most progress. And so, it's not I'm not trying to sit here and feel sorry for myself, but it's challenging sometimes. You have one of those days where, it just seems like, despite any of my redeeming qualities or the efforts that I put into taking the next steps in the progressive evolution of my life, it just seems sometimes like a hamster wheel, like it just keeps going around and around and around. And it's challenging. I think like part of it too is this Christmas season that's coming, and somebody said to me today, it's like, Christmas is in there, aren't you happy? And I said, well, I don't know, it's fine, but because it's not a big deal for me. I don't have any family around me, and so I spend a lot of Christmases alone. Sometimes I write poetry, so it's sort of a sad time of life because it kind of reminds me of how I don't have a lot of what do you call it, people who are close to me. Even the people who are close to me aren't really that close to me. How it is sometimes with family, you can only handle so much of each other. Some people are big energies. I'm a big energy myself, and it's like it doesn't always it's hard to, I don't know. And so I'm making this video just because I needed to talk to somebody, and I literally have nobody in my life that I can talk to about this kind of stuff. Because it's like if you say this to some people, then they start trying to fix you, and they start trying to tell you, it's like, oh, well, well, at least you got this and that and that and that. It's just like, yeah, I know. The only thing that is going on in my life that's good, there's many things. I have my health, which is good. I have a diet that is working, that is good. I do have friends, right? But I guess get a little down about things. Sometimes I get these big ideas about things that I want to do in my life, and it seems really great. But then when you, I guess sometimes I reach a point where I realize that maybe it's not time for something, or certain things are not so simple. I'm in the process of starting a business or two, and it's just once you get into it and start kind of realizing the nuts and bolts, you realize that you kind of have to work with where you're at. You can't do what you don't have the ability to do. And it's like, if you're in debt, if you're just scraping by, you got to be very strategic about how you choose to involve yourself in a business endeavor. And you're going to have to do it on your own, probably. I don't know. I've always wanted a business partner, but I've never found anybody who wanted to have anything to do with me or the kind of ideas that I have. And so, right now it's just like, when I think about what I have the ability to act on right now without spreading myself too thin, without something that's too big of a learning curve, because that's the thing about starting new things, is it's a process. Like starting a YouTube channel, it was quite the endeavor. I mean, you don't see it, but there's all these lights and stuff here, and they were expensive, and you got to learn about them, and you got to choose them, you got to purchase them and figure out how to work with like different color temperatures and stuff like that. I mean, it's tricky getting involved in anything, but like they say, I took a course before I started YouTube. It was free, I think. It was like with think something, anyways, this guy on YouTube. But they say it's like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time with what you're doing, and to get, like, what's weird is sometimes a lot of my videos, sometimes like 5 people watch them, 6, sometimes 20, 30, but then I'll make a video and all of a sudden there'll be like 800 views in a single day, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe some people do, and that's why I need to work with others, like digital marketing specialists. And I've had people reach out to me, but it's like, nobody works for free. You have to be able to pay them, and it's like, well, what can I do to fix up my videos myself? So it's just more and more work. I mean, it's a lot doing all of this stuff, and it's another part that's important too, that they tell you, is like, don't compare your start to somebody else's middle, because when somebody's been doing it a long time, it looks easy, but it's only because they've been growing steadily over a significant portion of time. It's just like yoga. You cannot just try to the idea is to work with where you're at. They say yoga perishes by overexertion, which means it is much wiser to allow the body to open up gradually over time than it is to risk injury attempting to force yourself into a position. And the idea is to work with where you're at, not to try to copy what somebody else is doing. And so that's how a lot of the rookie mistakes in yoga are made, is because people see people who are demonstrating these postures, and a lot of the people who are doing them have put in the required hours to open up certain parts of their body in certain ways, and it looks easy, but it's not. I mean, it is after you've done it 1,000 times, after you've drilled it for years. Yeah, it looks easy. People make it look easy, but that's what comes with persistence with anything. Yeah, and so, I don't know. Just thinking about what the next step forward is, and for myself, I think about how much time I put into these YouTube videos, and I've invested thousands of dollars in camera gear and tripods and key lights and fill lights and then accent lighting, and some of the stuff I don't even use, in a camera system that I don't use anymore, and in microphones and all this kind of stuff, because you have these different ideas for different channels. But then there's always a dream of kind of branching out and working with other YouTubers to increase your exposure and whatnot. And but a person only has so much time, and I find myself spread thin sometimes, and especially with money too. I mean, sometimes I make some foolish purchases, and I don't know. I guess I just have a lot weighing on my mind right now, and it's kind of come down to this idea for myself that's like something that is dear to me, that I don't need anything outside of myself in order to do. I could just do with my computer, as if I could finish writing my book. And it's funny, I kind of get the feeling that the reason that everything is happening the way that it is in my life, where it's like, okay, that's sort of a dead end, and it's like, some things are just trucking along, like this YouTube channel. You just have to persist with it slowly, as well as starting a business. It takes time to get all organized. Like, I'm going through a process right now for registering a trademark and a symbol and a name, as well as then registering a business name, because there's a process for that. And if you want to use like a single word name, they want to see essentially that you are going through the process, like this trademarking thing. So, and it's expensive. It costs, like, to file a trademark, you have to, because it will be used in like a certain classification. They're called niche classifications. And then, so for each classification, there's like a number, but for each one, it's like a range of goods and services or whatever. But then it can cost, it's like for the initial filing of the application, it's about $500. So it doesn't break the bank, but I mean, it's just $500 gone, quick. And then, especially if, depending on what you're going to use your business for, you might have to have a number of niche classifications, and you have to figure all this kind of stuff out too. I mean, I sometimes would get exhausted by like paperwork and stuff like that from the government, and they won't help you at all. Like, even though they know what to do, they can't tell you what to do, because then they're essentially liable. But I mean, if you do read the literature that they provide you with and don't get overwhelmed with it, you take a deep breath and you get into it, and it's just like, oh, okay, everything that I need to know is there. And it's I don't know, I get overwhelmed with these kinds of things sometimes, and then I just like put them off for a period of time. But I've decided to stop doing that, so it's kind of getting all that kind of stuff in order, and it's a process. And this yoga is going good for me right now. I mean, I feel like just sharing right now. I don't know why anybody would watch this video. Like I said, I need somebody to talk to, and all of my videos are the same thing. I am a human being who's spiritually minded, who is going through a process of figuring himself out and getting on top of his affairs and going through feels and the ups and downs of life's trials and tribulations and whatnot. So this is just, it helps me. Like this, it's honestly because I don't have people in my life, this is therapy for me. Because if I can't express myself in this way, my options are to write it down, but this is so much easier. I would rather do this, and you never know how sharing this, because if you just write it down, what do? Do you publish it, right? Whereas this is something that I can share, and you never know, it might mean something to somebody else who's going through stuff and is just kind of fed up, and it seems not fed up, but not exactly fed up, not exactly frustrated, not annoyed, not bummed out, maybe a little bit tired, not exhausted, but like, I work a full-time job, and then I go teach yoga afterwards for free. And like all of the schooling and stuff is just, it was expensive. And so like as a business, as a person who is starting a business and stuff, the thing is though, it's like when you're becoming a yoga instructor, you can't be charging for it, so you can't write any of that stuff off. So it's just kind of the cost of starting your business, of having a career. And so moving forward, it'll be a bit of a different story, like say going back to New York for more teacher training. As long as the business is making money, then you'll be able to write off, you know, your expenses and a lot of stuff, because even like the hotel room and whatnot, and then meals, the whole trip you could write off, as I think, as I understand it, because it is business related. You're not there just having a great time. I mean, yeah, you're there to work and to get educated. So pretty cool. But yeah, you know, in the midtime, it's challenging. And you know, by no means do I feel like giving up. I know that I will wake up in the morning and feel better, and certainly better that I'll feel better just the fact that I was able to express myself. Yeah. I don't know if it's kind of like sad or hurting that like YouTube, for what it's worth, is like a friend to me, even though I get like quite a bit of hate from people who don't appreciate the things that I share in my videos. There are people who have commented on some of my videos though in the past and have said some nice things and said don't stop making videos. So I kind of figure that my audience is about 6 people, like for people who really appreciate what I am sharing. And yeah, so I kind of decided once I realized that I would like to essentially not dedicate, but gear the videos that I make towards them specifically, because like reaching a wider audience is not something that I know how to do. And like the videos that I do make are I believe to be authentic. Like they are genuinely the things that I experience, the insights that I get from a variety of experiences, interacting with different people and thinking about stuff, and on this journey with yoga and spirituality and philosophy and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, so I think I feel like I'm ready for a bit of a shift in the way that I make videos. I'm thinking that I might, because the problem is using this iPhone with my super old computer. It does something weird when I try to import the videos. They become black and white, and I think it's just because I have a mid 2012 MacBook Pro, because I actually bought 2 other Macs since then. One of them just died. It was super sad because it was brand new and it was like thousands of dollars. And then I had another one, an iMac Pro, that was stolen. And so all I have right now is this old one that I have upgraded the battery and the hard drive and stuff like that. But yeah, it's obsolete right now. Like it is a dinosaur. I mean rugged, you know what I mean? But it is a dinosaur. Very outdated. Nothing will update anymore. It's using super old everything, and it's not good, because if you have a lot of your own personal information on your computer, it's not very secure if it's just super old anyways, the software and everything. So that doesn't feel good. I always turn off the Wi-Fi and whatnot so that it, I feel a little bit better that at least when I'm not using it, it's not connected to anything. And I don't know if anybody would ever, how hackers work and all that kind of nonsense. But yeah, I was thinking about breaking out the old camera, because then I would have to import the things and make videos how I used to. And then because the problem is like making videos with iMovie on the phone, I don't know how to, if you can, but I don't think you can layer things like I would on my computer. And so I would like to, there's some videos that I have planned, but I want to be able to, like where you insert pictures and things like that, because it really, I think, ups the value of the content, because your production level goes up, as well as using like little movie clips and stuff like that, adding them in, and then other music and whatnot. I mean, if I get a new computer in the new year, that will all become much easier. But until then, so that's my struggle. It's not the worst, but it's real. So like I said, I'm not looking for anybody to feel sorry for me. I know that I'm blessed in many ways, and I am grateful. Just have hard days sometimes.